Hello and welcome to the show. I am your host, Cameron Sadeghi, the Hardwood with Cameron Sadeghi. We haven't had this show in a very long time, but we are having it today. This has been a great NBA playoffs that we've had over this 2013 year, and wow, we had some great games yesterday. And we're going to probably have some great games today. So, to me, I think it would be appropriate if we go over the series, all the series in the playoffs. And I'm going to tell you the times for today's games. Today we have a lot of pretty good games, but most of them are closeout games. As you know, the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks are squaring off today. 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 Eastern. That's going to be on ABC. Miami, Milwaukee action on ESPN. That could be a potential closeout game in Milwaukee. That will be at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Also, another potential closeout game. San Antonio versus LA. Lakers, Spurs. 3-0 series lead for San Antonio. This starts at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, Denver and Golden State. What a series that has been. 2-1 series lead. Golden State, they're looking for 3-1 to go back to Denver. Denver's looking for a split. 2-2 back at home. We'll see what happens there. That will be on ESPN as well. So, as you know, if you haven't seen the game, I'll be shocked. It was one of the biggest NBA playoff games probably that we've seen in a very long time. And this series has the potential, and it probably already is, like the Bulls Celtics of 2008. It's really that good of a series. It really is. And for those of you wondering, what series are you talking about? It's Bulls Nets. Yesterday, 3 overtimes in Chicago. To me, this was the turning point of the series, this game, because now they're up 3-1 in the series. So it's going to be very tough for the Brooklyn Nets to come back. I said the Bulls would win this series in 7. I had no idea that it's probably going to come sooner than 7. Bulls win 142-134 against it. It was crazy, the game. I mean, you talk about miraculous shot after miraculous shot, incredible defensive play after incredible defensive play. It was what a game should be in the most critical moments of a series. So, as I have the box score right here, I wanted to share some quick stats with you. Darren Williams went for 32. He played for 58 minutes yesterday. C.J. Watson came off the bench. He played for 31 minutes. I'm just mentioning the minutes so you know. Nate Robinson scored 34 points off the bench. He played 29 minutes. How about this? Kirk Heinrich played for 60 minutes. I mean, even Joakim Noah playing for 39 minutes with that injury. Incredible. This Bulls team, and I don't want to go into this little philosophical speech spiritual perspective that I just don't have a clue on. But let me tell you this. The Bulls have more resilience, and I don't want to say heart, but that mental toughness in the second overtime, the third overtime, and just overtime in general. Your legs are going to be tired. Everything's going to be terrible. You're not going to be... You feel like, oh, how am I going to get through this? But the Chicago Bulls made the most key defensive plays, the offensive rebounds, with Nazir Muhammad, with that offensive rebound at the end to really seal things. It was exactly what this Bulls team is and their character, and it really speaks to Tom Thibodeau. Both of these coaches did tremendous, but you're down by 12 going in the fourth quarter against a pretty talented team. You come back, you show up big time with a cast of characters that you didn't expect to come through. Nate Robinson scores the second most points in a quarter, one right behind Michael Jordan. I mean, Nate Robinson just had... He could do anything offensively. He was unstoppable. He'd be driving down the middle of the lane, runner. He'd be driving against Williams, leaning off of Williams, bank off the glass. 3, bank off the glass, layup, pass, assist, doing everything on the offensive side of the floor. And then the chippiness from... You see, the Bulls and the Nets, and we talk about experience a little bit, but the experience... in essence was huge. Nate Robinson and CJ Watson going at it, I like that. I like how Nate Robinson tries to do that. I like how Nate Robinson tries to provide a spark for his team like that. To me, I think it's okay to get a little chippy. I think that what Nate Robinson did should be condoned for, in my opinion. I thought that was perfectly fine. I thought CJ Watson should have responded. I thought CJ Watson should have really, tried to get a little testy with Robinson and try to get involved. But it just seemed like the Nets couldn't have the fight, and unfortunately for the Nets, and I know they've had injuries here and there, but there's no excuse to be consistent at being inconsistent. That's who the Brooklyn Nets are. Darren Williams said in the middle of the season on the association with the Brooklyn Nets, he said, "We are consistent at being inconsistent." And it's so true, because you can't have a lead in the fourth quarter with 12 points, having a 12-point lead and absolutely collapse that way. And there's also no reason to let Nate Robinson flat out just go off in overtime. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that Nate Robinson's a bad player. I'm not saying that the Bulls didn't deserve the victory, but Brooklyn, come on. You could have stolen that game in Chicago, split, get back home, and get things going. Unfortunately for you guys, you couldn't get it done, Brooklyn. And some are saying, "Oh, fire PJ Carlosimo." No. Look, this is just a team that... I know I'm really, putting a lot of criticism, but it's fine. The Nets will be fine in years to come. Just a little bit of struggles down the stretch. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, so let me just go over the series in general. The Nets, they dominated Game 1, Game 2, Bulls came through. Game 3, which was yesterday, was a huge game for for Chicago rather, and I'm really impressed, really impressed with this squad. So, look. No, I said game 3, Bulls came through. Game 2, Bulls came through. Game 4, wow. I mean, this game I'll never forget. You talk about down to the wire, testing character. Well, I don't like using that, okay? I don't know what's in a guy's heart, but let me just tell you this. Chicago really defensively kept themselves in it. They just and I know you said, well, they gave up 134 points. No, that's not the deal. I'm talking about in key plays, key situations. What do you do in your defensive sets? Chicago did all the correct things in their defensive sets in order to get this victory today. Yes, Nate Robinson went absolutely crazy today. I mean, yesterday. He just exploded, literally and figuratively. But it's not just about the offense. It's the defense in those key situations. The Jimmy Butler block at the end. In the end of the fourth quarter. It's all those plays. It's the extra plays, the energy plays, the Nazir Muhammad offensive rebound putback. Just all those things that really contribute to championship-type victories. And Chicago proved that was a championship-type victory yesterday. Which was very impressive. Very impressive. Let's take a quick timeout, and we will be back in 30 seconds. We want your voice to be heard. 949-456-2911. 949-456-2911. You can call on the program to talk about any of these matchups in the NBA. I would really appreciate that. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. We are here. The NBA Hardwood with Cameron Sadeghi. The playoff edition. Incredible game that we were just talking about. Nets, Bulls. Now, I want to move on and get to some other very, very important series. Miami and Milwaukee. I know some of you are saying, come on, really, Cameron? Miami and Milwaukee? They've got nothing to offer for us. Such a boring series. Hey, Milwaukee's been hanging close, but it's mostly been Miami's inability to, I don't know. I don't want to say that Miami's not playing hard, but they're definitely not giving the same energy and intensity like they would against a team like the Boston Celtics, Chicago Bulls, etc., etc. Look, Milwaukee, they had the lead, they lost it. They had the lead, they lost it. It's the same song and dance. You have the lead, you can't do anything about it. You're up by 12, we still lose the lead. It's tied, we give up a 27-2 run. Careless turnovers, bad shot selection, long rebounds. Look, if you're going to give Miami long rebounds and turnovers, there's no reason why to play the basketball game. Okay, you know they're going to translate in the open court and convert. Okay, it's really that simple. You shouldn't expect to win against Miami if you're giving long rebounds to them and turnovers. None at all. There's no reason why you should expect to win. And that's really what Milwaukee, and look, Brandon Jennings saying they can win in 6 games. I love the confidence, but from a reality point, no. Sorry, Brandon Jennings, and I know as a competitor, that's what you said was dead right. As a competitor, you should say that. You should say, hey, you know what? We will win this series, even when none of you media members think that we're going to win. Or any of you fans think that we're going to win. That's true, but don't place that expectation. You think that in your heart. That's good. Don't be like Al Jefferson last year, who said, "We're not going to beat the Spurs." Dude, you're playing them. I thought you want to win a championship, Al Jefferson, and you're saying you're not going to win the series? Come on, Al. Now, Jennings, on the opposite, you can't really give them, you can't just go out there and lay an expectation out there. You can think it, but don't put it out there because it can be misperceived. So, Brandon Jennings, just watch out. I know where you're coming from. I know what you're trying to say, but you got those people out there who think you're crazy because of you saying that. I don't think you're crazy. I'm actually proud that you had the guts to go out there and say that we've got a chance, but again, there's still no reason to say those things. There really isn't. Let's see here. With this Jim Boylan, look, he's still the interim head coach there. I don't know what this Milwaukee team's going to look like. They really... Wow. I don't know, because Monte Ellis, I'm pretty sure, is going to be a free agent. If they lose Monte Ellis, yeah, according to Slam Online, expected to join the 2013 free agent class this summer. If they lose Monte Ellis, what are they going to do? What is this team going to do? And is Jim Boylan the guy? I don't know. Has he been doing a pretty good job? Yes. Has he been giving up huge runs? Yes. But overall, has he been kind of keeping them in this series? Yes. Look, I'm still hesitant about it. I think they really put themselves in a predicament. They really have. They need to do well in this draft, or it's not going to look pretty in the future. I don't know what this Milwaukee team is going to do. It's going to be very, very scary for this team. Miami, oh, they don't have to worry. To me, I think Miami's just a lock for the NBA Finals. The Pacers, though, I think can give them trouble. But with the way the Pacers played against Atlanta yesterday, it's going to be really hard for me to believe that Indiana can beat Miami 4 games. How are they going to beat Miami in the best of 7 series? I just don't see that happening. Alright. It's just, with me, I have to say this. Miami, they got to step up the ball movement. I don't know if they think this is just going to be an easy battle, so they're just, let's just go through the motions, but this Miami team, even though they're winning 3-0, it's been mostly Milwaukee giving up a lot of turnovers, long rebounds. If you're going to give Miami more possessions, you just quit. Just quit. There's no point in playing. They're going to convert every single time. LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, they're just Bosh and company. Ray Allen, wow. Ray Allen, unbelievable with the way they've been going at it over there. Let's move on to action in, well, obviously action in the NBA, but let's go to the Boston-New York series, which it's going to be 10 o'clock. We're actually very close to tip-off here on the Hardwood with Cameron Sadeghi. New York, rather. Get your dustpans out. Brooms, you're going to sweep the Boston Celtics tonight. It's... With Boston, it's so unfortunate because they're... I mean, the Rondo... A lot of people saying, oh, they can win without Rondo. Look at the ball movement. Look at the ball movement. You are not right. And I was kind of saying the same thing. Hey, you know what? Maybe they can just win one round without Rondo. But, yeah. Look, New York, just Carmelo. Carmelo lighting it up. He's... The hand's right in his face, and he's just knocking down jumper after jumper. You gotta get the heat check out for this guy. You're talking about having the green light. That's what Carmelo Anthony has right now. Look, I don't think this may be a sweep because J.R. Smith, we just found out, suspended for today's game. So, look, they're losing an offensive dynamic there. Sixth man of the year dynamic there. So yeah, it could be a huge factor in this game, and maybe Boston, just win it for the crowd, just get the victory today, redeem themselves. But they're not winning the series. Okay, New York's gonna wrap this up. Kidd has been playing excellent. They've been playing great in the third quarter, the third and fourth quarters of the games. Boston just doesn't have enough in the tank right now. They really don't have that offensive firepower, those facilitators necessary. They're just in a funk, and they just can't get anything to go. New York, if New York wins this series, which I think they will, and if Indiana wins this series, the Atlanta-Indiana series, then Indiana and New York would square off against each other in the next round. That would be a compelling series. It would bring, it would reminisce with Reggie Miller, 9 points, 8 seconds, Spike Lee, the choke symbol, all those things. That would be an incredible series, okay? Now, if the Knicks played Atlanta, no. Atlanta's not going to win the series, okay? First of all, Atlanta doesn't have the guard play necessary to win. They just don't. Atlanta really, and we'll talk about Atlanta in a few minutes, but with the Knicks, the ball movement's gotten better. The defense has stepped it up with Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson should be celebrated for in New York. I don't think... You see, this is a problem in New York, too. I know, kind of going a little off topic, but I'll keep it in the realm. With New York... I mean, look, Rex Ryan, I haven't really liked the job that he's done. I know it's NFL, but whatever. People loved him in the beginning, and now they're super critical. So... Alright, with Mike Woodson, no one's ever saying, wow, look at Mike. Mike's really been the difference. I never hear that from New Yorkers. It's always, when are we going to win a championship? And then when they do win a championship, we're not satisfied. Guys, come on, New Yorkers. Have a little patience. I know everyone tells you that, and you've had losing season after losing season, but now you're fine. Look, you may have a chance against Miami, even though you really don't, but you may think that you do, so don't expect your team to beat Miami. Okay? Look, the Knicks are a finals contender. Will they get there? No. I mean, God forbid, LeBron James or Dwayne Wade would have to get injured in order for that to happen. Okay? I just don't see that happening in my future. Or, not in my future, but I cannot foretell. I'm not a psychic, so I don't know. If you're a psychic out there and you really believe that, call into the show. 949-456-2911. 949-456-2911. Let's segue into what we were just talking about. Pacers-Hawks. the Pacers, you talk about lackluster performance in Atlanta. 90-69 Atlanta. I mean, the highlight reel, turnover after turnover after turnover. Atlanta thrives on turnovers. We know they can convert easy. They're one of the best at doing that. They got young guys, Teague, Smith. They can get it done in the open court. I don't think Atlanta's winning this series. To me, I'd actually be surprised if Atlanta won Game 4. I'd really be surprised. There's no reason for Atlanta to win. I thought this could have been a sweep. But maybe it was just a bad night for Indiana and they just couldn't get anything to go. That happens. But if this happens Game 4... If the same type of performance happens in Game 4, this could go 7 games. Okay? Now, I just don't see that happening. Atlanta with Smith and Horford, look, that's a great duo there. With the guard play, who's gonna beat out Paul George, Danny Granger, Collison, Stevenson? No, you can't. Hansbrough, the energy guy. You just can't do that. That's just too much firepower. You got Frank Vogel there. Smith, he's going to become a free agent for the Hawks. It's just... This Hawks franchise, it's like every year, it's like they're mediocre in my mind. The Hawks, it's always mediocrity with the Hawks. Even when Joe Johnson was in Atlanta, just mediocre after mediocre performance. I mean, yes, they make the playoffs, but the goal at hand is try to get a championship, and they haven't made the steps necessary to do that. They've got Smith and Horford. They got to lock those guys up. Look, if you had Smith, Horford, and an amazing perimeter guy, you could become very successful. That'd be a big three, and then you can compete against Miami. You can compete against Indiana, New York, Chicago, those teams. But you're missing that element. You're missing that element. If they could get... Look, Joe Johnson, I didn't think he was good, and I don't want to say good enough, but the right piece for them to become a huge big three. They need a guy like, it's just a creator, a scorer, a creator. You got to keep Teague in my mind. Teague is going to become very successful. But you know what? They could even go get Monte Ellis. Just go get Monte Ellis in the free agency market. Imagine Teague, Ellis, Horford, Smith. You're going to win games. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to at least win 2 playoff series. 1 playoff series. At minimum. So, Atlanta's really needs to step it up in free agency and really identify what they're going to do, because if they're just going to keep the same roster, or they let Smith go and they get nothing in return, they're going to be just down in the pits. They're just going to be a team where they're not going to win a championship for a very long time. For a very long time. And it's quite unfortunate. And it's quite unfortunate. Okay. Or desafortunadamente. I don't even know how to say it. Alright, I'm so tongue-twisted. I was trying to fit in a Spanish word into the broadcast, but that's not going to work well. So, it's just, this Atlanta Hawks team really needs to identify who they are. To me, the identity of a team is the most important thing in order to reach success. If you don't know who you are as a team, the style you play, the type you play, like the Phoenix Suns, no identity. None. No identity. I don't know what you're going to get from the Phoenix Suns every night. Are you going to get a transition team? Are you going to get a team that's going to play better on the half court? I don't know. I don't know. You need that definition, that term, clearly printed for you. Clearly. Let's take another break, and we'll be back to discuss the Western Conference Series. Kevin Durant buzzer beater, not buzzer beater, game winner for Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City. It took 3 bounces in to make a 3. Look, he had 41. He played amazing. That's great, great, great. I still don't think they're going to make the NBA Finals. I'll tell you why. Westbrook's injury has a huge part in it. I'll talk about the Lakers, Spurs, not really. Well, I will talk about it, but I mean, it's quite obvious that the Spurs are going to win that series. And then the series I'm going to talk about the most is Golden State and Denver, which you'll hear very, very shortly. This is the Hardwood with Cameron Sadeghi. Back on the Hardwood with Cameron Sadeghi, and the series that we wanted to discuss. Oklahoma City, Houston. Look, with this Westbrook injury, it's going to really hurt them. I think Oklahoma City's going to win this series. Houston, though, they're going to at least get a game out of this. They're going to win the next game, in Game 4 at Houston. And look, I don't want to say Oklahoma City gets lucky, but it reminds me of the playoffs last year against Dallas when Durant hit that fadeaway and it took about 2 or 3 bounces to get in Game 1. And then in Game 3 yesterday, 3 bounces to knock in a 3. Look, they say luck comes from preparation, but I don't know. Look, if LeBron James made a shot like that, took 3 bounces, he'd be pretty criticized. Or if Carmelo, or I don't want to say Kevin Durant gets a lot of the, but I'm just talking about from the mainstream media. You get guys like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith talking about how Kevin Durant is better than LeBron. Look, it's crazy, okay? LeBron's clearly the best player. If you don't think that's the case, then you just don't know basketball. I mean, I know that sounds so mean, but you just don't know basketball if you don't think LeBron James is the best player in the world right now. Kevin Durant, look, God bless him, he's going to do well. But to me, and I'll talk about this. We'll get into the series really quickly, but I just want to mention this point. People talk about how this Westbrook injury is going to really help the Thunder, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous for anyone to even utter such a thought, because you have an offense where the lack of ball movement is so evident. So evident. The Thunder, it's just ISO, 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 ISO. Give me a half-hearted screen, get out of the way. I've seen times where it was against the Celtics and Thunder, and I saw Westbrook lined up on the left wing, Durant with the basketball at the top of the key. Durant comes to the left wing and says, Westbrook, get out of the way, clear out, go to the other side. And then it just becomes an ISO. Then I've seen Westbrook do that to Durant. To me, that's terrible. That's terrible basketball. You're giving the defense a break. You know why? Okay, it may just be one-on-one, and the guy defending Westbrook or Durant will have to work. Those 4 other guys, they don't have to hug their man. They don't hug their man. They can just play good, solid help defense. And I don't want to say take a break, but when you have 4 guys playing help defense, and you don't have to worry about any passes coming to the other side and ball reversals, then all is good. All is good for the defense. And it's so easy for defenses like Miami that are so complex, and then San Antonio, and Memphis. Don't expect success. I mean, the Thunder shouldn't expect to win a Thunder fans shouldn't expect to win a championship this year, because Russell Westbrook and his injury, you're losing a facilitator. You're losing a guy who creates in a bad offense. Some of you say, well, why do the Thunder always score so many points? A, it's because they play great defense and the defense feeds in the offense. B, they have the two most talented offensive players in this league. So, when you're facing the likes of the Sacramento Kings, Charlotte Bobcats, and the Detroit Pistons, of course you're going to dominate those defenses, and of course you're going to have more talent than those guys, and you're going to light it up offensively. C, why are they so successful? They have great pick and roll screeners. Kendrick Perkins, Nick Collison, Serge Ibaka are great screeners, and some of you are laughing at that idea, but it is so true. It is so true. So, the Thunder against Houston. Houston, their ball movement isn't tremendous, but they keep it close. And Durant has too much on his plate right now. It's just, this Thunder, I like Scotty Brooks a lot, but they need to come up with better offense. And I know in the playoffs they say superstars take over when the play breaks down. That's all true, but you can't tell me that early in the shot clock that you can't at least do 2 ball reversals, 1 ball reversal. Just make the defense work a little bit. You're not challenging the defense at all when you're doing ISOs. You're actually helping the defense when you keep doing isolations. Ball reversals, cuts, screens, flare cuts, flare passes, those are the key to success. Not ISO, let me just go 1-on-5 and chuck up a half-hearted jumper from 35. It's not cool, it's not good, it doesn't win championships, it never will, and it never has. It never will win a championship. Go ask Miami in the first year. When Miami, Bosh, LeBron, Wade all got together, it was ISO, ISO, no ball movement, ISO, pick and roll, ISO. And guess what? The Heat didn't win the finals. The Mavericks went into a zone, and they tried to out-athleticize the Mavericks and try to dribble through the zone, put a bad shots in the paint, not passing the ball in the middle, going inside, outside, doing those things. Miami's changed. Miami moves the ball. LeBron's finding cutters. Wade's finding guys on the fast break. Bosh playing within himself. That's what the Thunder need to be. If they can do that, they can win a championship. That's all it takes. And I hate these guys, Skip Bayless coming out here saying, oh, Westbrook takes too many shots. In this type of offense, Durant's going to take too many shots at one point. Westbrook's going to take too many shots at one point. They both take too many shots, in my opinion. It's ridiculous how many shots these guys take. Share the rock a little bit. Westbrook, Durant, share. You got Cephalosha for a wide open corner 3. You're not going to hit him? And celebrate for him? Come on. Houston, on the other end, Harden. He takes too many shots. He forces the issue sometimes. Or way too much. He needs to distribute. So both teams in Houston and Oklahoma City, they're not winning a championship anytime soon. Until they do those things. I think Oklahoma City's going to win the series, but Houston's just going to win Game 4, in my opinion. San Antonio, Spurs, Lakers, at Staples. Look. Lakers, injuries all over the place. Meta's out. Blake's out. Look, no way the Lakers win Game 4. Absolutely no way. San Antonio's absolutely breaking them down off the passes. Duncan's looking like 2003 Tim Duncan, and Ginobili, Parker. Parker's just flat out breaking the Lakers off the dribble like he's playing against a middle school team. Okay, Tony Parker is just having his way offensively, and then defensively, it's easy. The Lakers really don't have any threats besides Gasol, Howard. You just pack the paint, force them to have great perimeter play. It's not going to happen. They're not going to have great perimeter play, in which that means Spurs victories. Spurs win the series. Spurs will dominate. Spurs easy. Spurs win. Golden State, Denver. That has been a great series, on the other hand. Two other series, This series, incredible. Golden State is now up 2-1. They win in Denver, we know. Game 2. Well, Game 1, Andre Miller hit the huge layup against Draymond Green, passing him the nice move, and then the layup there. And then Game 2, Golden State just racks up 131 and shoots the lights out with the ball movement, getting out in the fast break, doing great on defense. And then in Oracle Arena, great job by Jarrett Jack and company. Landry doing excellent. Curry doing great. Thompson making the big plays when it matters most. Defensively making the stops when it matters most. That was critical for the Warriors' success, and they got it in Oracle. Now, they got a chance to go up 3-1. Do I think they can do it? I don't know. It's a toss-up tonight. Do they have the potential? Yes, but they got to replicate that same performance they did against Denver and Oracle. They've got to do that same performance in Oakland. Will the crowd be there? Yes. Will everyone be excited? Yes. Will the Warriors win? Maybe. I actually think that Golden State is going to lose this game. And then, actually, you know what? I don't know. This is such a big toss-up. I can't even... Yesterday I thought Golden State was going to win this game. Then today I don't think so. So I just don't know. I can't make a prediction. This series has been so great. George Karl has done such a great job with this team in Denver. Same with Mark Jackson. To me, Mark Jackson and George Karl are the two most underrated coaches in the NBA. Bar none. Now, Denver, I don't think they're going to win this series because with the loss of Gallinari, they miss so much guard play in the perimeter. They really miss it sometimes. Gallinari can just go on a hot streak, just get off. Gallinari can take you off the dribble in key critical situations. Lawson's a little banged up. Fareed's a little banged up. JaVale McGee's been playing excellent. Excellent. I love the way JaVale McGee's playing. I think he could actually... I know Shaqtin' a fool and those segments on, not top 10 plays. Look, he could be a top 5 center in this league. And some people think I'm crazy when I say that, but he's got that potential athletically, with his athleticism, and his skills. He's got really good post skills. With his athleticism and his post skills, he could really get to that point to being a top 5 center in this league. And he could be the reason why the Denver Nuggets go far in these playoffs if they get past this round. And he could be the reason for years to come for them to make the NBA Finals. The Nuggets are one superstar away, in my opinion. They need to get a big superstar. They really need it. If they get that superstar, they're a finals lock. Same with Golden State. They're a superstar away. They're a superstar away. And I think Golden State will win the series in 7. But nonetheless, they'll win. Memphis Clippers. Game 4 rather. Memphis wins. 104-83. Series tied 2-2. This is, and I've said this before, Memphis in 7. Look, the Clippers and the ball movement, and I know some of you are so sick and tired of hearing those two words, ball movement. With the Clippers, And you know what? I heard Charles Barkley talking about this too. Charles Barkley said on TNT, I think, on Inside the NBA, he said, you know, the blame's too much on the coach. The players should put themselves accountable. It's almost a Hollywood mentality. And you know what, Charles? I agree. This Clippers team, it is not Vinny Del Negro's fault. I don't think, because I've seen the Clippers have offensive sets. I've seen the Clippers move the ball. I really have. But how do you think you're going to beat Memphis on ISOs and alley-oops and just based off the pick and roll? How? You're not going to win. You don't deserve to win. Memphis will win the series. Randolph and Gasol, they're just absolutely dominating the paint offensively and defensively. But Gasol's doing it defensively, Randolph's doing it offensively. And I know Gasol just went off offensively as well in the last game. You got the defensive player in the year, and you got one of the and you got Mr. 20 and 10 and Zach Randolph. Conley has been huge. I mean, he's really breaking down Chris Paul, Eric Bledsoe off the dribble, getting guys involved. Tony Allen on the fast break. Tony Allen really getting in the lane. You know, Pondexter really spotting up on those threes. Bayless really knocking down those threes. This team, you know, Tayshaun Prince knocking down those mid-range jumpers. You know, playing within himself. That's all you can ask for. Lionel Hollins making all the right adjustments. The Clippers, while they're more talented than the Grizzlies, they just don't have the ball movement. And the zone defenses hurt them because the Grizzlies have been moving the ball so well. They just get easy looks. And I kind of... Look, I like Chris Paul a lot, but I kind of have to put the blame on him because... To me, with this Clippers team, they need to... All these players need to sacrifice in order to win a championship. They need to sacrifice their numbers for their championship. For a championship. If you average 15 points a game, and you know that to win a championship, you might have to average 5 points a game, so be it. But don't be selfish and try to go for 15 a night. Don't do that. That's selfish. And with the Clippers, I'm starting to sense that. It's inexcusable for them to not move the basketball well. It really isn't. I don't know. I wish I knew the exact reason, but I think my reasoning is correct. And I'm pretty sure it is. Let's take, you know what? We're actually going to close the show. I really appreciated everything that you guys have done, all the listeners on National Sports, and enjoy the next game, Knicks Celtics, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We will see you on National Sports. I think Robert Dieters will have a show today. You should listen to that rather, and really appreciate it. And like always, hasta luego.